Good morning. If you go to the Aklot Facebook page, you may find a comment that goes like this. Yesterday, I took my Aklot concert mahogany ukulele to the music store for its annual checkup. And I'm happy to say that they didn't find very much wrong with my lovely ukulele. Do you need an annual ukulele checkup? I would say no. I would say that if you do the wrong things, your ukulele may be seriously damaged the first hour you have it. So by the time a year goes by, your ukulele could have these problems. It could be cracked, it could be warped and the bridge lifted. You can have seriously sharp frets. It may have a bowed neck. Somebody might have stepped on it. Now, accidents are not the same thing as annual maintenance, I don't think. But in the case of a ukulele, you got to look at the whole health picture. And that means that you don't want this ukulele to be damaged at any time. And if you wait a year, that's probably too long. You have to be in charge of the health of your ukulele, and don't expect somebody else to do that job. Now, this is a Bruce Wee ukulele I bought. It was built in Vietnam, a very humid location. It was sent to me, and I've had this way longer than I've known how to play ukulele, I must say. It may be the second oldest ukulele I have, or maybe the first. I don't know. But if I were going to give this ukulele an annual checkup, or a checkup, I would look at it. First, I'd look under the bridge to be sure that it was not lifting. I would shake it to be sure it doesn't make any noise, like have rattles. I'd play it so I would know that it doesn't have any buzzes. I would first run my fingers along the sides of the bridge here, the fretboard, to be sure that there were no sharp frets. And in fact, there are a few on this ukulele. I probably haven't had it out of its gig bag for a year at least. And it could use with a little file trimming of these frets, and they would be really wonderful. As it is, it's really not, there's no reason why I can't play it just as it is. But then, if you have a checkup and you find something, there it is. So I'd look all the way over the ukulele and see if there were any imperfections. And if you live in a humid climate, maybe you want to look inside and be sure there's no geckos in there or any plants growing. I don't know. People have taken ukuleles to the Arctic. They have taken them to Antarctica. And I guess they've taken them everywhere, and who knows, one of the astronauts may have taken one to the moon. Ukuleles do not, nor glossy guitars like this, do not like change in climates. And one of the worst experiences I had was with a guitar I bought in Japan, or it was in Japan. It came to Atlanta, then it came to me, and it was in my upstairs room that was rather warm and dry, and the guitar warped, and cost me a couple $100 to have it fixed. But that happened within probably 3 or 4 weeks after I got it. And that's not a year. So if you put your ukulele in danger, it's going to be in bad trouble after a year. And these are some things that I would definitely say not do. One, if you have a glossy instrument like this, do not put it in the sun. In fact, don't ever let any of your ukuleles or guitars be displayed in a place where sun can hit them. That would be extremely dangerous to the instrument. It will disfigure it, discolor it, and make it really ugly, whereas before it was beautiful. One of the worst things I can think about would be to be in a dry climate like the desert and then receive a ukulele from a very moist country like Vietnam. One lady on Ukulele said she had 2 instruments crack. One of them, as soon as she opened it up in the box, she saw the crack develop. An all solid, obviously expensive ukulele, maybe or probably made in Hawaii. It had cracked in her hands. So if you are in a very moist area, or a very dry area in particular, you've got to be careful how you open up your box and the kind of climate it comes into. So you've got to know a little bit. You need to research and study about your particular climate and the effects it may have on your ukulele. I'm not an expert on every climate, but telling you what I know and have experienced and heard that happened to other people. So the fellow who took the ukulele to Antarctica, of course, it developed many cracks, but still it could play. Now you won't be happy with, it'd probably sound just about as good as it would anyway, but I wouldn't count on that, and I would hate to see an expensive ukulele cracked. So it's good to hear that Aklot mahogany concert can live in India for a year and have no adverse effects. So when she took it to the music shop, it's nice to hear that they didn't find anything much wrong. They probably found something wrong, though, so that they could charge her for it. I suppose. So, maintenance of a ukulele starts actually before you open the box, not a year later. So when she bought her Aklot mahogany, if it was in fact purchased at that same music store, that was probably her first checkup, and they told her some things about it, but she decided she needed to have an additional checkup every year. But the 2 worst things are damage from weather conditions and too dry seems to be the worst scenario. And accident. And accidents are very easy to happen to ukuleles and to people who are not familiar with musical instruments. It seemed like when I first started buying ukes and guitars, I was banging them up all the time. And I've heard of a person who had bought an expensive ukulele from Hawaii. He put it in the back seat of his car, and his wife dropped a bag of groceries on top of it. Bye-bye $2,000, or at least I guess you'll have to ship it back to Hawaii. They'll fix it for how much ever and then send it back to you. In this case, he was selling it on eBay for low dollar. So, the cheaper the ukulele, the more hardy it will likely be. The more you pay for it, the more worry that will be involved. They're a little more delicate, and they will be affected more by climate change, which is why I really like inexpensive ones. The care that I give mine, and I've got 5 dozen, the only care I really give it is making sure that my whole house humidifier works during the 90-day period of our worst winter weather, because the heat in the house dries out the house to lower than 30% humidity, and that is that's not good for ukulele. That is exactly what caused these sharp frets here, because it just dried out. So there, some tips on ukulele maintenance. Unfortunately, we got to do it all day. I mean, all the time, all year. We've got to be careful and mindful of our ukuleles to keep them in perfect health. And if you do that, they should last. Any ukulele that looks like this should last 30 years, or I call them lifetime ukuleles. And that is a lot to say for something that costs so little. Thanks for watching.